So thank you all for being here for our bi-weekly Eastside Rap meeting, where we discuss impacts of homelessness in the Eastside neighborhood of Santa Barbara. I'm Landon Rank, Director of Programs at SB Act. This is a partnership with the City of Santa Barbara as a part of our South County Regional Homelessness Coalition. So joined by Barbara Anderson with the City Administrator's Office, as well as some other city staff. Um, just a few quick announcements before we start. Just to note that our schedule is a little wonky because of the holidays. So we would have typically met on the 26th, but we will not be doing that. Happy Boxing Day. So our next meeting is an Eastside Rap. Formal meeting will be on January 9th. There will probably be some other in-person Eastside meeting coming up soon, but I'll hold on that and when we give it to Barbara to talk a little bit about some of the transitions coming. I did want to note for those who are interested, there is a memorial service that happens every year called the Longest Night. This is commemorating those who passed away unsheltered. And this is something that's done throughout the country, but the one in Santa Barbara will be on the longest night of the year, this Sunday at 5:15 p.m. at the courthouse archway. So I invite you to join us as you're able. There's the flyer. I'll put the link in the chat window as well if you're interested to learn more. We did have a virtual all-call meeting this last week, and so I'm going to put the link to the recording of that in the chat window. I think we had a really good discussion. Oh, Councilmember Santa Maria was there, among others. So if you're interested, we've just been talking about a lot of our kind of regional progress. The biggest thing to report from that I wanted to share is that there's about 20 individuals with the high acuity behavioral health needs that we've been talking about on these calls who are off the streets, who are in either interim or permanent housing as of the end of this year. So that's good news. We have 100 people on that list, so we have a long way to go, but we're really happy to see at least some of these people are really getting some of the services they need, and hopefully the streets are that much emptier. Wanted to make another note of the warming centers. I think maybe since the last time we met is when the warming center season has started. So these are not open every night, but any night in which there's a 50% chance of rain or higher or below 35 degrees is when these are activated. It's usually a local faith community place for people to go. So we want you all to be aware. Please save the hotline number to your phone. You can call on any given day to find out if they're open that night, as well as the actual location since it changes from different faith communities. So encourage you to find out about that, spread the word, because this is another way that we can help really connect people to services and hopefully get people on the pathway towards housing. And then last thing I'll note, I'm just kind of passing along some information here from, this is through the city and the county housing authority. And actually, I'm going to share a different window. They're making a push to ask community members to advocate for this emergency housing voucher program. I'll drop a link in the chat window so you can learn a little bit more about this. But this has been a change from the federal government that this program was going to be funded through 2030, but has been cut back to now only December 2026. So we have more than 200 households in Santa Barbara County that rely on these housing vouchers to remain in housing. And so those households will be at risk in 2026 of returning to homelessness. So it's more than 300 individuals you can see on the screen. So if it's something you're interested to learn more about, I encourage you to check this out. And if you think it's something you would like to advocate for, we're seeking for our state level legislators to provide the funding in place of the federal government. It would be a big impact to our community if all these individuals did lose housing. So we're just trying to figure out ways to prevent that from happening. All right, so those are my general announcements. I want to turn it over to Barbara, if I can put you on the spot, just to talk a little bit about kind of what's next for 816 Cacique Street.
Yeah, as you see, we have Nina and Nancy from Mercy House, officially joining us. And Sasha, with Path, we are in the middle of it all, of it all. So Mercy House has been working really closely with Path on all of the logistics from utilities transfers to making sure that we're hiring up staff. So I know that Mercy House has been posting jobs and recruiting and interviewing folks and really, really exciting times. Also just noting the workload and the stress. I mean, everyone is all hands on deck. There was a meeting last week communicating with clients and guests about the transition and with both, again, Path and Mercy House joining together to be able to answer kind of preliminary questions. Um, the kind of official transition is midnight on December 31st. So January 1st is that's happening. We're working with both teams to make sure, one, we're answering questions and fielding questions from referral partners, other collaborators, and agencies. I know we've had some back and forth with neighboring businesses. And then we're working with Councilmember Santa Maria to kind of schedule a introduction to Mercy House meeting in January. So, we're really excited and very grateful for the collaboration and coordination we're getting across agencies. I do think the commitment to continuity of care for the clients that are currently at PATH is really the shared mission and the shared goal. And we are going on Tuesday to council for authorization of the purchase of the facility. So I know there will be, really good deliberations with council on tackling and taking this on. There are obviously a lot of complexities that come with it. We are working with agency partners to facilitate agreements starting in the new year for this 6-month period to the end of June. We anticipate putting out an RFP for a longer term service provider in March, but we really want Mercy House to settle in and really get to know, the needs as well as our broader community. We're beyond grateful for the willingness of Mercy House to kind of tackle this in the interim and be interested in that longer term piece. Sasha, anything to add from your end?
No, I was just going to say, I think this is going to be Pat's last meeting with the Eastside Rep also. So I just want to take a minute to acknowledge, I know we've been a part of this space for a very long time, before it was virtual, all of that good stuff as well. So just want to give our gratitude as well for welcoming us, being a partner with us. Barbara covered kind of the transition. So some of the Mercy House staff are here, and I'm assuming they'll be the ones that will continuously join the meetings moving forward, but just really grateful for all the partnerships and the years that we've been able to serve the Santa Barbara community as well. So that's all.
Thank you so much, and thanks to your whole team. We just appreciate the thoughtfulness and the engagement, and like I said, the collaboration in these last few days.
Will the current path residents be retaining their beds?
Yes, Olivia, we are working to transition enrollment for those clients to the programs that have been designated. And as I said, we're actually starting to meet with referral agencies to talk about contracts for next year. So that is the commitment, and even getting Mercy House staff HMIS enrolled and working and coordinating with SEMCAL to get the proper credentialing here. All of that is taking place. So that is our commitment. But anything to add, Nina or Nancy, regarding kind of client transition?
Um, oh, sorry, go ahead,
Only
Nancy.
the one thing that I know that we're also preparing, just we've already submitted our participation agreement to the COC, so that hopefully we kind of get that going. As soon as that's, confirmed and ready to go, I think that will be a lot more, we'll be able to get a lot more hands-on on, like, the specific client cases and all of that. Also HMIS, it's another piece that we're working on getting that set up. I believe we're a little bit further now in the process. Some of our staff members have already been I think there's one or two that have already gotten the credentials to HMIS. So we'll continue working on that as we start, hiring more of the people that will be working directly with the clients at the shelter.
And I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name is Nina Castellano. I'll be the regional director for Mercy House. Come January 1st, I should be there pretty much full time for at least the first couple of months. So if you guys need anything, please let me know. Happy to partner with any resources we should maintain locally in partnerships, volunteers, donors, you name it. So just reach out if you need anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you all taking time to be here today. Other questions or comments for our teams, I should say.
You're always welcome to speak frankly.
Well, look, I know that this is a very sensitive transition, and welcome. It's a needed service in our community, and you guys have been spoken of very highly as and endorsed as a way to really turn around something that has been a thorn in the side of this community. So we've spent over a decade since this location was opened in our neighborhood, pushing back on it was a detriment to our community. It wasn't a good thing for us, even though it's a good thing for people who need shelter. For the community, it hasn't been. And we've had these ups and downs. And when we pushed the previous shelter before PATH to become a clean and sober and dry shelter, that made an immediate impact in our neighborhood. It was positive. I literally had neighbors coming up to me and saying thank you. And I was like, I didn't do anything. Right. And then PATH took over and it was just a rapid decline. So sorry, PATH people, but it was. And we've been battling and fighting and trying to get you guys to stick to, your CUP. And we got all kinds of promises and nothing happened. So it's a very hot and sensitive topic for us as well. Because while we welcome service and support for the most vulnerable, at the same time, one of the most vulnerable neighborhoods in the city shouldn't be taking hit upon hit for doing that. So, how you run it and how you manage it and how you interface with this community is of pressing and absolute high concern for our neighbors. And so I'm just going to put that out there. I'm hopeful. I'm excited that there's going to be a change. I'm excited about the promise that I've heard. And we've heard that already. So I'm also extremely skeptical all at the same time. And so I just want to put that out there.
And Natasha, always appreciate the dialogue and really the honesty around your experiences. No, seriously. And this is first and foremost, what is compelling the city to move forward with tackling such a complex undertaking. I think, as you know, there's no government agency. I think Hedges House of Hope was an acquisition that the county initiated, but then has transitioned. So that we're taking this on. I mean, this is the first time ever that the city has taken this on outside of Casa Esperanza and kind of facilitating that transition. So and that is for the council to decide on Tuesday. So I don't want to get ahead of kind of authorization and contemplation and deliberations on that agreement. But I will, in January, when we're able to kind of sit down in person with Mercy House, we do want to detail some of the changes that will be immediate around security, both daytime and overnight, how those patrols will happen, ensuring the safety of clients and guests as they enter the facility, but also making sure that we're in line with it being a low barrier accessible location. The good neighbor policy that Mercy House, aligns with and that we will tailor to the needs of our community will speak to. And I will say just, some investments and upgrades in staffing capacity on site so that the client staffing ratio will be different. So we, again, day by day, we want to be transparent about, some of the challenges in the transition. But just what is being codified right now, I think you'll find to be very promising. And the communication pathways, of course, will always remain open. So we'll detail more of that in January as Mercy House is able to sit down and kind of communicate what their shifts and changes will be, both on site as well as external to the facility.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you for that, Barbara. And was there a meeting that we were going to set up with the community and the Mercy House team to have conversations about this? Is that in the plan or?
Yeah, we're working on finalizing that date. I reached out to Timothy, who's the chief program officer, for mid-January. So it gives them a chance to kind of settle in, and then we can engage in person with an evening community meeting. So working to coordinate that, and I'll share the confirmed date and time once I hear back from Mercy House on their availability for that.
Okay, thank you.
And then I saw Al come on camera for a minute. Al, were you trying to say something? You may not be able to respond. All right, well, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you, Landon.
So I guess with that, we'll just say thank you again to the PATH team. Please share our gratitude with your whole team. I know that the transition is really hard, and especially right now, at this time of year, but we want to express our appreciation to you all. And then Mercy House team, we're looking forward to meeting you and getting to know your team more as well. So please, everyone, stay tuned for the details for when we'll be discussing further as a community.
And Landon, I unfortunately have to sign off at 10:30, but I wanted to communicate too that, Mercy House is really trying to maintain the commitment of inclement weather beds too, as we don't feel an inclement winter season right now. Very fortunate on that. But we have kind of walked through some of those logistics of what happens during that period of time and the path kind of standards that have been set there as well. So just so you know, we're also trying to accommodate that when that time comes.
Yeah, La Nina seems to be holding out so far, but that's really helpful to know. Thank you. All right. So at this time in the meeting, we typically will open it up for concerns or questions from the community. So we'll open it up now, and then after that, we'll go to our service providers. So anyone from the community, now's your chance.
Since nobody's talking, got the same guy over by the new police across from Dune spot. Same guy. I know he's hard, still there, accumulating stuff.
Yeah, Natasha, we have two individuals that are similar in terms of the complexity of their needs. We are initiating engagement with a primary care physician with both of them to see if they're receptive to enrollment there, because that is what's required to get them on the path of, perhaps adult protective services or beyond. So I don't want to get too much into the weeds there for confidentiality, but we are trying to explore different pathways to get them the care that they need.
Thank you. And also thank you for oh God, what street was it? The one right by Edison. You guys sent a team out for the RVs that are parked there. So really appreciate you guys paying attention to that.
And since it was mentioned, Landon, and before I sign off, New Beginnings is working to do a kind of pop-up outreach event. So one time, not regularly occurring, to do more outreach for vehicular homelessness in the neighborhood. and kind of cool things like a food truck to kind of entice people to come out and engage, because I think some of the receptivity just hasn't been there with the folks that have been there the longest. So we're trying to be more creative, and then obviously working with PD on the enforcement side as well.
On a bigger picture with that too, we've talked about this a little bit on this call, but the county will be conducting a comprehensive study of all those who are living in their vehicles throughout Santa Barbara County sometime in the new year. And we're hoping to gather some data from that can help inform all the strategies, because this is such a quickly growing issue throughout the whole region. And one of the biggest issues being what Barbara mentioned is that a lot of people are not interested in services. Many would say they don't identify as being homeless at all. So we're hoping that if we can get a better understanding, we'll be able to better address the issue. So stay tuned about that.
You probably already have all the streets marked off, but if you need help with that, let me know.
We may be asking for that, so thank you.
Just to note for our council members, we have 3 council members on the call, so I don't know if this counts as a community event or we have to be wary of Brown Act regulations. So I just wanted to point that.
I'll hop off.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we
Thank
just
you.
lost Oscar if you
Oh.
wanted to stick around.
Okay. I'll stay
He
on.
might have seen that popping on too.
Okay.
Thanks, Barbara. Anything else from the community?
And Susie, I'll loop back with you too when Mercy House settles in. We'd love to do a coffee moment with the businesses close by. So I'll reach out to you and the Ramirez family to be able to schedule that as well.
That'd be great. Yeah. I have the same concerns he does, and more from a safety perspective, obviously, where our roll-off trucks are going in and out right next to the path, aka Mercy House location. So
And by the way, we need a name, folks.
I
We
was
need a
just
name.
gonna ask, what are we calling it?
So we welcome any ideas or suggestions. We would love to have something for this interim and maybe something for the longer term too. So welcome to any ideas there.
I think for the interim, we decided we would be calling it the Cacique Navigation Center. So we could decide as a group later to change it, but temporarily, that's what we're going to call it internally.
Yeah, we were at Casa Cacique for us too. So around the same, yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and go to our service providers to check in. Al, can we start with you? Or Olivia? I guess we have a couple City Net folks on the call.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of action in the Eastside area. I have a new permanent partner now, Ashley. So we've had capacity to take on quite a few more clients now that there's 2 of us. So we've had 4 or 5 new clients that we've enrolled from the Eastside area. We've had 3 shelter entries, and we've been focusing on Milpas a lot more. We've been seeing a lot more folks in that area. So there's a few people over there that we've been checking in with pretty much daily. Yeah, there's definitely been a lot more activity. I think especially now that a couple of the parks are blocked off, people are moving around a little bit. And yeah, we're just continuing to do outreach, focusing on this area as well as the area around the rescue mission.
Thanks, Olivia. I don't know, Path, Mercy House, if you all have any other kind of outreach updates you wanted to share about the last couple of weeks. Maybe not right now.
Not so much to report.
All good.
Things down.
Lieutenant Beltran, can we go to you?
Yeah, thanks, Landon. Pretty brief on my end, not a whole lot to update on. We've just been kind of in the same area as Path area. I know we helped the other day. Our team helped out with code enforcement, clearing out some stuff over by the rescue mission. But otherwise, just kind of hitting the tracks in our normal areas that seem to be impacted. that we've discussed before, even the waterfront, but it hasn't been very busy for us lately. So just kind of a good thing, I guess. But if anyone has any issues come up, please contact me so that we can address it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anything else while we're all together? Go ahead, Councilmember.
Can I ask a question? I've had some email correspondence about Calle Cesar Chavez, I think in front of New Beginnings there, and people living in cars. And I guess they've tried to report through the SB Connect, or what is like currently the best way to have people contact directly when they're having an issue?
We are still directing people to use SB Connect.
Okay.
Yeah, there is that section in there where you can really get the details of whether the person's in an encampment or in a vehicle. And it's just that way it all goes through the same channel, so it all gets logged.
And then how does that loop get closed? Like, how does this resident get then information back that at least it was received, or what? Yeah, anything like that.
Yeah, so you have to set up an account, and so it ends up sending you email notifications as well as through the app. And obviously, it's not going to share the specifics because of the client confidentiality, but it will say like, I forget what it says, but this ticket has been closed. So,
Yeah.
so you at least know that someone has seen it and done something about it.
Thank you. I appreciate all you're doing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And one thing here, Kristen,
I
for like specific individual needs, one was the city, they send the
Al, you're breaking
and
up a
then
little bit.
the feedback.
Okay,
I
I'll
had a
follow
feeling
up.
that would happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I would also add to that the more details in those requests as possible are very helpful, because sometimes we get requests that are a little bit vague in the location and description of the person, so it's a little bit hard to identify exactly what's going on. So it's very helpful for us when there's like very specific details.
Okay. Thank you. And just in general, I mean, that's sort of like a hotspot area. What's sort of a general approach that I could share?
I mean, I think so within the app, you have the option to use the map feature, and it's not always the most intuitive to use, but as much as possible. And then even detailing, northeast corner of Cacique and, whatever it is. Um, yeah, descriptions, license plate numbers.
And then there's outreach and okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it is like something that's more urgent, then we would encourage people to call police. But if it's really just reporting, hey, there's people here who maybe either need help or this is causing an issue related to parking, then that would be SB Connect is definitely the right way to go. And pictures I see from Al in the chat as well are very helpful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, anything else while we're all together? Well, to end on a happy note, some of you heard at the beginning, but our own Susie Couture is performing this weekend. So I'm putting the link in the chat window for the Santa Barbara Festival Ballet and their performances of the Nutcracker. I do see Al's number there as well. I do want to wish everybody a happy holidays. Appreciate you all being here and being so engaged in this neighborhood throughout this whole year and beyond, and really look forward to kind of what's ahead with you all. So we'll say goodbye to our community members. For those of you who are outreach providers, if you can stick around for just a second, we'll touch base about some individuals by name. So thank you all.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Landon.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, break a leg.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you, everyone. Since our agreement hasn't been, effective yet, Juanita and I will jump off the call, and hopefully
Okay.
we're able to join the next one. Thank you.
Great to meet you both. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
I was just going to really briefly mention, it got brought up on one of our calls earlier this week that there is a missing persons report for Bruce Freeman, if you all know who that is. And I believe he was a Path client for a while, so I don't know how much time he spent on the east side more recently, but just wanted to mention it here.
Yeah, so actually I'm not sure if this is confirmed, but I heard that I know he had been wanting to relocate to Hawaii for a while, and I heard through the grapevine that he had purchased himself a ticket. So I think it's possible that he did leave to Hawaii.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that's the case then. Did either of you have anything else you wanted to bring up? Okay. Well, Merry Christmas, y'all. Good to see
Y'all.
ya. Take care.